All right, welcome back to another lesson. Always good to see you. All right, we're going to take a look at a guitar lick that uses hammer-ons. Now, when I first started learning guitar, I remember being introduced to the concept of hammer-ons. We do have a lesson about that if you want to go check that out. If you haven't already, let me just explain really quickly. Hammer-ons are when you play one note, you just pluck the string once, but you end up hearing two notes because you hammer on the second note. So you don't pluck the second note, you hammer it on. And then you just hear, just from that action of hitting your finger against the fret, you'll get a sound, you'll get another note just by doing that. So that's what a hammer-on is, and that's what we're using in this song. It's a great technique, something that's really good to have, and this is just a fun little riff to play. It does take some time. It's great for the coordination between your picking hand and your fretting hand, and also with your picking hand, just to be able to kind of go from string to string. It's a great exercise just from jumping from one string to another string, and of course doing the hammer-ons with your fretting hand. It definitely makes the lick a little bit more challenging, but it's really cool and really rewarding once you get it. All right, let's take a look at the chord that we're playing. Actually, it ends up being two different chords. You don't have to worry as much about the chords that we're playing because we're not really hitting the second or first strings, although I do like to have my fingers on there just to keep that, the shape of the chord that we are actually playing, just in case sometimes the pick does hit another string inadvertently, or maybe you want to do it on purpose where you leave that option open so you are playing the full chord. But either way, really a lot of the work is happening in the lower bassier strings. So we're playing a G chord. I'm playing a full G chord. Full as in I'm not leaving the second string open. I'm using my third finger on the third fret and my pinky on the third fret to play this kind of a G. The next part of the guitar riff, all we're doing is we're actually leaving these fingers here, the third and fourth, and again, we're not really using them, but good to have just in case. All we're doing is just moving now our first and second fingers down to the next set of strings. So we're going from here, which is the G, and then we're moving the fingers down here, which is a variation of a C chord. It's a C add 9 chord to be exact, but really, what we're doing is going from G to C. So just back and forth. All right, so those are the two chords that we're using. Now let's break it down and take a look at what we're doing with our fretting hand and the hammer-ons, as well as what we're doing with our picking hand. So we're going to start by plucking the low E string while we're playing the G chord. So low E string, and then we're going to play the open D, and then the open G. So we're going low E, open D, open G. I like to do downstrokes on the E and the D, and then an upstroke on the G, just because we've got to actually start making our way back. It's a pretty fast moving guitar riff, so I like to be as efficient as possible. So upstroke on the open G. It's not critical, but it is good sometimes to find a good rhythm that ends up working to your favor. All right, so once you do those three strings, then you're going to get your first hammer-on the fifth string, on the A string. So when we do this hammer-on, it's going to be open at first. So we're still playing the G chord, but now we've lifted our index finger. And that's where we're doing the hammer-on. I'm going to move my second finger so that you can see what I'm doing here. So a hammer-on, you really are hammering it on. You really have to hit it, especially on an acoustic guitar. you really have to hammer your finger on as hard as you can. Try to get nice and close to the fret. It'll make it easier that way. And it's really all about how fast you do it. The faster you can hammer on, the stronger the note is going to be. All right, so far we've got low E, D, upstroke on the G, and then hammer on, open to the second fret. You got to watch out for that second finger. You can actually move it out of the way if you want, because we're actually not using it after that first note. Okay, so after you do the hammer on, then you're going to hit the D, open D, and open G again. Then you got another hammer on coming up, and this is going to be from the 2nd to the 3rd fret on the 5th string, the A string. So again, that's 2 to 3. So you pluck it once, and then you hammer on to get that second note. Try to do it as fast as you can. If you go slow, you'll mute it by the time you get to the fret. All right, so far we've got low E, D, G, hammer on, another D, G again, then hammer on, then we're going to do D, G again, and then we've got our next hammer on, the open D to the 2nd fret. So we've got, right after we do the hammer on from the 2nd fret to the 3rd fret, open D, open G, and then hammer on the open D. So far we've got this. And then we finish this guitar lick by hitting the open G and then hitting that D string again. Our 2nd finger is still there from the hammer on, so you don't take it off until we get back to the beginning of the guitar riff. So we finish after that hammer on, we hit the open G and then the D string. Okay, so the whole thing from the beginning. Low E, D, G, hammer on the open A string to the 2nd fret, and then D string, G string, then hammer on 2 to 3, open D, open G, hammer on the open D string to the 2nd fret, and then we finish it by hitting the G string and then the D string, and our finger's already on that D string on the 2nd fret. So here's the whole thing again. A little slower now. Okay, a little slower. hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on. So there you go. You're really going to feel it in your fingers, especially if you're trying this on an acoustic guitar. It sounds really cool on acoustic because it just has like this country kind of feel to it. Like you're just sitting out on the porch, hanging out, and playing a fun little song. Now this is something that will take some time. So especially if you're not used to playing hammer-ons, you can try it on the electric guitar. It'll be a little bit easier. Probably on the electric because you're doing so many hammer-ons. But just if you want just to kind of, take it in stages, work on your fretting hand for a little bit, then work on your picking hand because there's a lot going on between the two hands, but it's not only a great riff, it's a great exercise as well, and it will make you a better guitar player. All right, work on that and I'll see you very soon.